evening and welcome to Talk Right Show. I'm your host, Wayne Stennett, and my co-host, Nick Sullivan, is with us. And we got a pretty good show lined up for you tonight. Nick, you don't look like Nick. I'm sorry. What's going on there?
Well, this morning, my agent said, we need you to go in for a particular role, and it's based on an actual prosecutor in a famous case, and they want people that look like him. And I was like, ugh, yeah, well, all right, whatever.
And he didn't have a beard, I take it.
I looked, no, he had and I had big, crazy, bushy hair too. And I looked and I went, okay, I do look like this guy. So
well, the bushy hair is easy to do.
Well, he had close cropped hair, so I had to hack off my long hair, and my big old beard I miss it already. I gotta say, I never cut it in winter, but it had to go.
Yeah, it definitely keeps the face warm.
Well, Wayne, yours is looking particularly impressive. Almost sort of a spade shape there. It's got a.
Well, it's my pre-release beard. Most people, if you go to my website, my webmaster created a beardometer at the bottom, and depending on how long the beard is, it's a caricature. But depending on how long it is, that tells you how long it is to the next release. And as you can see, there's one coming up March 1st. Swift and Silent will be released, and it should be pretty good. It's going to be everything's all done. It's all uploaded. Everything's ready. We just got done real early, so we're
definitely. And the audiobook is narrated and it is edited and
that will can, as they say,
segue into our guests.
Yeah, why don't you take over and take care of that?
Well, this
I'll drink my protein shake.
Oh, enjoy. Well, as longtime fans of this show will know, this was originally created to invite authors on with their narrator and get to sort of hear about the process. So we're returning to that format today with David Berens, fellow Tennessean. He and I have grabbed a beer from time to time at the Orange Hat Brewing, midway between our respective haunts. David is a writer of many books. He's also a cover designer and a logo designer. I'll show you what he did for me. And also the upcoming, are you now the NINC president?
No, not yet. I am the president-elect for this year, for 2024. And then in 2025, I will move up to the president of NINC.
Gotcha. And we will go into great detail for that. But also I want to introduce Craig Hart. You can also find him as an author, Craig A. Hart. Craig has written several thrillers, and he has narrated a great many books. Of particular interest to me, I want to hear all about paranormal romance, and we'll find out all about that. And actually, why don't we start with Craig? Did you? I got into my writing because I've narrated like 500 books, and at some point went, I should be doing some of these. Were you a writer first or a narrator first?
I was a writer first, for sure. Yeah, that was, I call that my first love. I've been writing since I was in my teens.
Fantastic. And you have a marvelous voice. So yeah. I'm guessing you went, there's no reason I shouldn't do my own books.
Yeah, well, I've always loved audio drama when I was a kid, like Jack Betty and all these kinds of things. But for some reason, even though I listened to a lot of audiobooks, it never occurred to me that one could actually do that, which is silly because somebody did the ones I was listening to. But for some reason, I never made the connection. And my mom was a writer, so I just started writing. I loved that whole process. And then, yeah, eventually I was like, you know what? I could narrate some of this stuff. I could narrate other people's stuff. And once the ball got rolling, I just enjoyed it so much and kept going.
That's fantastic.
Are you actually in your booth, or it looks more like an office?
Well, I have taken down, I had a booth that I built myself. I have since taken that down and converted a corner of the storage room into a large-ish booth office that I've soundproofed to a certain extent and worked with the acoustics enough that I can actually sit at my computer in a comfortable chair and narrate and record and get a very similar quality to what I had before. So yeah, I am in an office, but it's been treated.
Oh, excellent.
I like that you have the reminder over your shoulder there that says you are a writer.
Yes, I don't want to forget. And also, it's covering up the fuse box.
Oh, well, there you go. Very good. I love, though, all the little things that you've got there. I don't have too many things in my studio, but I enjoy the few I do. Out of curiosity, what is over your right shoulder? Is there a picture up there on the wall there?
Over here, these two?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
What is?
there's a pair of pictures in a cocktail cigar bar, and
Okay.
one is of the woman and one is of the guy. And right now the woman is looking away from the guy because my wife and I had an argument. Once we make up, they'll face each other again.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's cool. That
You can't
needs to
see it well,
go.
but yeah.
That has to go in a book. You should absolutely put that in a book. Well, David, let me ask. Every time I sort of pop on and look at what you've done, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know he also did that. You have. I met you with the Troy Bodian books, the action adventures, sea adventures, with some mystery and some thriller in there.
Mhm.
But you have now this new CIA thriller, and you've got archaeological mystery thrillers, and you've got fantasy, high fantasy children's
Mhm.
books, nonfiction books about tennis. What was the first book you wrote?
The first full-length novel was the high fantasy. I started that when I was in college, actually, and that's been a good while ago. And wrote a very short book, and this was back before Kindle and before KDP and Amazon and all that. There was a company called CreateSpace, which I think eventually Amazon did buy, and I published the book with CreateSpace simply so that I could have copies to sort of give to my friends. And that was sort of a very short, maybe 150 pages or something. And people started, enjoying it, and it started selling a little bit. So I thought, well, I should really go back and treat this like a real book. And over the years, I expanded it, and it's gotten to where it's a huge volume. It's like 600 pages. And so that book just carried me into publishing. And unbeknownst to me, I was right in the middle of the gold rush and did nothing about it. So I missed the boat, but I got a book out there anyway.
Well, right now, how do you know how many books you've got? I attempted to count and gave up.
Yeah, it's hard to follow. I know. I think there's 8 Troy Bodine books. There are 4 Ryan Bodine books, which is Troy's brother. That's the archaeological thrillers. Then there are 5 of the CIA thrillers. So what are we up to now? 8 for, I have an English degree, so I have no idea what I'm up to. There are 2 tennis books, 1 high fantasy novel. There are 3, well, two, let's see, what would you call that? I guess archaeological thriller, Leah Stone, which was the Joe Bennett book, and I co-wrote those. And then I have a secret book that I co-wrote with Craig, called the Amber Cross Thrillers. There's one of those, and then one hopefully on the way that if I can ever get down to getting something to Craig to help me out with. But I think there's maybe 17 to 20, something like that.
You just
It's so hard to count
22.
them. Exactly, yeah. Somewhere around there.
23 if you count the new one coming up.
Yeah, there's some Leah Stone books that are going to come out, and then there's a whole nother series that I had taken down and I'm rewriting and re-releasing. So it'll be in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 if I get everything out.
Ron Rich is saying 17, but you just said 22.
There's some that are not. He may be looking at my website.
I was a math major.
Yeah,
I was a math major. So while you were rattling them off, I was adding the numbers.
I trust you. I'll have to trust you. Don may be looking at my website where some of them are down and they're not listed yet. But in total, when they all get published, it'll be 25 to 30, something like that.
Well, Wayne, what can you tell us about what it was like to be the president of NINC, and what is David in for?
It was it was a lot of work. I tried to pawn off as much as I could on others, which is what management does. You task other people to do jobs, but it was a big part of my life for the entire year. And expect there to be blowback on all sides, all fronts. There'll be problems, but it was take advantage of it, because as president of NINC, you have a unique opportunity to rub elbows with the really upper echelon in the publishing field. I was invited to that's how this whole show came about. I was invited to Seattle, to Amazon headquarters, toured their headquarters, had a great time, and then flew to New Jersey to Audible's headquarters. Nick and I toured that. And then we got real drunk and had an idea about a talk show on YouTube. That was like, what, 5 years ago?
During a snowy evening, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I remember that show.
Onyx Donkey holding the cell phone up.
Oh, the Onyx
Yes,
Donkey.
I remember that show.
It's somewhere around. Oh my God. Well, Craig, let me ask you. So I want to know. You've got a lot of paranormal romance, and I'm guessing, like if someone's doing Pride and Prejudice, well, you do your British accents and such. But what do you do when you have like a vampire and a werewolf fairy, or I don't know what the different things are, and I imagine they're all different. What kind of voicing do you have to do when you're dealing with? And you probably don't want to do things that are too crazy or take people out of the romance, which is ultimately at the core of it.
Right. I mean, they're pretty much similar that in terms of voicing. They've got fairies or tend to be British for some reason. Vampires often are. Werewolves often from the Bronx, interestingly. I don't know why, but but it's kind of similar there. I don't even know how I got started doing them. I think I auditioned for one on ACX and got it, and then one led to another, and pretty soon I found myself pigeonholed. Like, I originally wanted to do thrillers, just narrate thrillers, and the romances just kept on coming, so I just kept on doing them. So yeah, I've done werewolves, aliens, lion shifters, a whole family of bear shifters. Like, there's one guy who I think wrote he had a female pen name. It was a guy writing them, and he just had me do like 3 different series of his, just all one right after another. So there's a huge market for it. And honestly, if it's a story well told, it doesn't really matter to me what the genre is. And to me, romance is not an excuse to write poorly. So if they write it well, then it's a great story. Is a great story. But it was definitely a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Some of which I'm not sure I wanted to know, but it was quite educational.
I still remember. Go ahead.
David, is there been any discussion on when the registration for NINC is going to be this year?
Yes, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell it yet, but we were just discussing it within the last couple of days, and it will be. It'll be in the spring, so
same as
I don't want to
last
get
year.
in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble and tell the date and then it be wrong. But
So
yeah, we're in discussions now to nail it down, and it'll probably be in a few days. It'll be announced and so forth. So
if anybody watching who's wanting to go to NINC, you got to work this backwards. If registration is in April, you have to be a member before registration opens. And to be a member before registration opens means that you would have to be approved by the end of March. And to be approved by the end of March, you would have to apply before February 25th.
let's just go ahead and say you should probably register now.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're coming
You should
up
probably
on the
get
deadline.
okay. Yeah, you should probably apply right now.
Don't wait until next week. Don't put it off. If you want to go to NINC this year, you really need to get on the ball, because it's the vetting process it's very unique, and NINC is one of the only writing organizations that go through this process, and it's the members that allow members to join. So you have to give the members 30 days to approve you. So
Mhm.
you got to apply for membership in February to get your name before February 25th to get your name in the March 5th newsletter for the members to vote and approve you by the end of March. Then you can apply, then you can register for in April. Does that make sense?
That is correct. Yes, it does. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it may be a little bit earlier this year, so I would go ahead and, if you're intending to apply for NINC and try to go to the conference, it would be better to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, if it's any sooner than last year, then the deadline's probably already passed.
Yeah, it may be.
Hopefully
It's
hopefully it won't
close.
be until April. But
So
anyway, okay.
do it
No
tomorrow.
comment. Yeah, do it tomorrow.
If you're
and
listening
see
to
what
this and
happens.
you want to
Yeah.
do it tomorrow.
That's right.
Let me see. I want to ask Craig. I noticed, I think one of your books was multicast. Am I remembering that correctly?
Talking about the Buried Danger.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, did you put that together yourself, or did you have a company do the multicast for you? How did that go?
It's a company, but I own the company. So we had somebody do the directing for Stephanie Emmett Parker, did the directing and the casting for that, did a great job. I did all the editing, like the voice track. I did the sound design and all of that stuff. But yeah, so that was put through Dramascapes, and it's sort of kind of a graphic audio kind of thing where we take the book pretty much in its entirety and just transfer it over into sort of audio drama format, more of a dramatized novel, really, rather than a true audio drama, but same kind of format.
Are you the narrative voice on that one?
No, we got Torian Brackett to do that. I do play a role, but a small one at the end. So we have a full cast of really talented people doing that.
Cool.
Nick and I got to see a multicast in progress while we were at ACX.
Oh, awesome.
That was really neat. It had the glass booth, and all the actors were on one side, and the engineer and the author and his family and everything on the other side. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they seem to be rising in popularity. I'm seeing them pop up all over the place. So it's kind of, we went from just audiobooks to dual audiobooks to duets, and now we're moving into full cast with music and on sound effects, which is my jam.
Well, let's see. I'm going to throw another question here to David. In addition to being the president and writing between 17 and 23 novels and being a professional tennis player, you also have gotten into covers, designing covers for people and designing logos for people. If you're an author out there and you need a logo, go to David. I am so thrilled with. Wait, does this come up backwards, or if someone's actually watching this?
Right.
Did they see it? Okay, good. Yes,
I see it right. Yeah.
And he also did this for me with the
Oh, that's nice.
That's really cool.
well, and he basically did exactly. I was like, hey,
He's like, here's a sketch.
something like
Do
that.
this.
And then he did. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. He's like, let's put the bubbles in here. So, but you're making lots. I mean, you're probably doing what, 2 or 3 covers a week, or 10 a week?
Maybe more than that. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with that too. It's probably closer to 6, 7, 8 sometimes. And sometimes some people will come to me and be like, I need this done. Like, I need it done because I've got a conference and I have to order books and I need all 20 done right now. So they get a special emergency rate. But yeah, someone was asking you, Nick, I think on the YouTube chat about your swag. So go in there and check that. But
okay.
yeah, I sort of got into it because I was really, really cheap when I first started writing and just didn't have the money to throw it at a professional designer. And I was very lucky to be on the self-publishing show's first book lab, and they had an editor come in and look at the text, and they had a well, I can't remember who. Well, it was Stuart Beige came in and looked at the cover and said, here's some things that might be better. Here are some things that might be do this, do that. And he was even kind enough to talk to me after that episode aired and say, this is you really got something here. You're pretty good at this. And I've just honed the craft and gotten, I think, a little bit better. And it's just word of mouth is all I do. And it seems to have spread like wildfire.
Can I just sing David's praises for a minute on the covers? I don't know. A lot of people, I'm sure, do this, but David just studies the genre that he's working in, takes the time to learn, and that everything is, every time he does his cover, I might give him something. Maybe I don't give him as much as he wants, but I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, do something. And he somehow manages to pretty much nail it every time. And if it is different from what I thought, his version was better. So I've always loved what he's done for my stuff.
Thank you, Craig.
Nick, there's a discussion on YouTube right now about your lack of a merchandise store. People want to buy your stuff and you can't.
It's yeah, and I've got, so we have this T-shirt, and I've made highball glasses, I've got stickers, I've got stuff, but I need to get my Boone and Emily prequels out before I send myself down another rabbit hole, because designing the swag itself is probably why those books aren't done. But it will happen. If you talk amongst yourselves, I'll go get one special thing that is here. Oh wait, no, it's behind me. Hold on.
What is he doing?
Got a mug or something, maybe? I don't know.
I do, but this is,
guess the item.
I am revealing. So a buddy of mine who is an artist, he does the Charles Schultz, like he does all the, if you see Peanuts nowadays, he does that. But he also does this.
Wow.
Yeah. And he actually pulled this from an image of her riding a dolphin. So this is the Emily character. And in my books, I hinted that she is actually drawing this, like right now. And when Boone tried to look at it, she's like, no, and closes it. So she's designing the logo for Bubble Chasers Diving. And then I've got my Nothing Like a Proper Kappa from Emily Durant. Yeah. So there is swag. I just...
but you can't have it.
Well, David Berens.
That's really also, cool, man. This is a great shirt. Look at this cool mug, but you
can't have it.
But I'm hoping that David will help me with my website, because if you've looked at tropicalauthors.com, this is something else he does. It now looks gorgeous. David is really good at making websites look super professional and proper. And so once he overhauls my website, maybe after he's president, because I bet you've got enough on your plate right now. That's why I haven't bothered you. All right. So that was a massive dodge for that YouTube question. Do we have any YouTube questions that are not about my unavailable swag?
Nope. They're all about your swag.
Nope, they're all, let's see. Yvonne Edwards is asking about it. Don Rich, Travis. Yeah, everybody's wanting.
Yvonne got some free. She got some swag from me.
She wants more. You know how she is.
I know. I want a ship store like Wayne.
Hey, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Let's see. How are we doing? Okay. Do we have any other questions here? Oh, kids' books. You got some kids' books. And one of them was a really cool, something Mozart. What was it? Is it like a kid who's a superhero or a wizard, or
yeah, Zed Mozart is a little bit of, when I was young, one of my first experiences with reading was a series of books called Encyclopedia Brown. And the cool hook about Encyclopedia Brown was there were mysteries. There were tiny little mysteries, and they were probably middle grade, and you would read the whole thing, and then you would try to figure out the mystery, the whodunit kind of thing at the end, and you would flip to the back of the book, and there would be a chapter telling whodunit. So in my feeble mind, I decided to create a character that was homebound, potentially because of some able-bodied issues, and he potentially can't get out of his house, so he has to wear a VR headset, and his assistant goes and takes video and shows him the crime scene, and it's all very, it's the school locker room or whatever, and he's got to figure out the crime. So it was a cool way to have an idea like a mystery that was middle grade, that was, a little inclusive, and give somebody a character that hopefully they could show to their kids. I wanted something that my kids could read, and I was always intrigued by mysteries and things like that. So he goes around and solves, mysteries at his school and things like that. It's fun. It's a fun little series.
Okay,
Very cool.
Travis on YouTube is asking a question. I guess this is for you, David. What were the biggest obstacles you encountered in the beginning of your journey?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. In the beginning, I didn't know any better.
I
I
think
just
we all
did it.
started
Yeah,
there.
I just did it. So there are things we instinctively know as readers that we like. When you read a book, I read pretty much every Jack Reacher that came through, every Mac Travis. I read all those. I read all the Randy Wainwright books, all those things, and I knew what I liked. I knew a book that I liked. But when it came to writing a book, I was not fully aware of what made a book enjoyable or made a book good. And I may still not know the answer to that, but I think as I've gone along, I've learned that there is work, there's a lot of work to be done to actually put a good book together. And I think that was my earliest stumble. Was I would just start writing. I wouldn't outline or plan or do anything like that. And I would put myself in a corner and I wouldn't be able to get out, and I would have to go back, I'd have to go all the way back, start over again, and think to myself, okay, how do I make this book actually enjoyable to read and fun and exciting and that kind of thing. So that's probably my biggest hurdle, was learning how to put a book together to make it a real book, a real novel, and something people actually wanted to read.
Yeah. Same question to you, Craig.
Similar, I think, to what David was saying. One thing I used to struggle with is understanding that there were reasons why stories worked and reasons why stories didn't work. Because I was always like, I don't want to write formulaic stuff. I want to do something new, something different. Well, the problem with that is that, again, stories work for a reason. They follow certain beats and all this, and there's a reason why a reader will start at page 1 and read all the way through to the end. And that's something that it took me an embarrassingly long period of time to figure out, because I just wanted to write what I wanted to write without these constraints. But as I've hopefully come to learn a little bit better, is that constraints nurture creativity and not the opposite, which is what I used to think. I used to think that constraints were a destroyer of creativity, but it actually works completely the opposite. And once I've accepted those limitations, I found my productivity go through the roof. So I just had to set my pride aside and realize that I was wrong once again, and that people who'd been doing this a lot longer actually had it right all along. So
Yeah.
once I figured that out, it became a lot easier.
I tell new writers all the time, the wheel is round. It rolls.
Yes.
Mhm.
Ain't no reason to change it.
Yeah,
3 acts,
absolutely.
and just follow the same pattern that every writer before us did. And it works. And it's what readers have come to expect. It's what they want. So give them what they want and people will be happy. Nick, you got any more questions?
All the things that I have marked and circled have all been addressed.
Well, then look at that.
And it's 7:01. That's perfect.
Well, David and Craig, thank y'all for being on the show. It's been real fun talking to you. And
This is awesome.
Nick, as always,
Thank you.
great having you here with me. We need to do this more. In fact, I think next show's Hot Tropics. So we'll see you again, David.
All right, sounds good.
Until then, and yeah, next one's Hot Tropics, I'm pretty sure. Until then, that's what, March? What's the first Tuesday in March, Jordan?
The 5th.
Tuesday, March 5th. And thanks for watching, everybody. as always, it's a lot of fun doing this. We don't make anything from it. We just have a good time. Thanks to our sponsors and supporters, Down Island Press, Aurora Publicity, Tropical Authors, How Not to Sell, Cruising Outpost. That's it.
I think you got them all.
I think I got them all that time.
Mhm.
I kind of memorized them. Good night, guys. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.